Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 in my website redesign series. So far you've seen me create a sitemap, create the plan for what I'm going to be doing with my new website. You've seen me design and build a one-pager, a simple site that's up there right now, kind of as a placeholder while I'm getting everything else worked out. Now though, I'm ready to dig in and start tackling some of the other pages on my site. So if I just bring up my sitemap here, as you can see, my website is kind of split into 3 different categories. There's the general like about and contact stuff. There was my portfolio and speaking page that I wanted to create. And then there's the content. And the content is what I'm going to start with because mostly I just really want to be writing some blog posts. And at the moment I don't have a blog or a place on the internet where I publish blog posts. So I figure that's the best place to start, right? If you can remember from my planning video and what you see here on the sitemap, I want to have 3 different types of content on my website. I want to bring in my YouTube videos, my podcast episodes, as well as new written content. That's going to be quite a bit of work to get all those 3 things working together and search results and things like that. So I think what I'm going to start with is just the blog, like a written blog on my site that I can then expand on in the future to include the video and audio content. Basically, I'm trying to break this whole website redesign project into really small chunks that I can then build on and improve as I go, just so I'm continually getting stuff out there. So today I start working on the blog section of my site, and what I do at the start of every design project is wireframing. I used to do this on paper. In fact, I have a video about wireframing where I walk through the paper technique I used to use, but these days I like to use my iPad and my Apple Pencil and an app called Concepts to do my wireframing. So let's dig in and get designing. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do obviously is open up a new page in Concepts. I really like using Concepts for wireframing because it's got an infinite canvas, and you can do a lot of like really arty stuff with all the brushes and things and colors, but I just use a regular black brush to be drawing on this white page. So it's pretty much as if I was using a Sharpie on a piece of paper, but instead I'm doing it in an app. What I like to do when I start wireframing is just write down a little list at the side of the page with all of the elements that I need to consider as I'm designing. So to start with, I'm going to be wireframing some ideas for the post view itself, so when you're reading a single blog post of mine. So what will be on that page is navigation. It'll have the post, obviously, title. I don't want to make my blog too dependent on imagery, so I'm not going to have like a header image section. I think I want to be able to just write without being forced to create an image for it if it doesn't require one, or if there's not one that's particularly relevant. Categories. In fact, inside navigation, there'll be navigation for the site and also for the blog itself, like clicking through different categories or tags or whatever. At the end of each post, I'm going to have a form. It'll either be a general sign up to my newsletter, or if I've created a particular opt-in that matches with that post, then I'll paste that in there. I don't think I'm going to have comments on my blog. I don't know though. So let's think about comments for now, just in case I do decide that I want to have them. I think also it would be a good idea to have a short bio for myself on the page, like just a little bit about me. I'm going to be the only author on my blog, so I don't necessarily need it to be like an author thing. But just if a blog post is shared around or something like that and someone comes to my site having never heard of me before, it'd be good to just have a little bio there so they can get to know who I am. All right, I think that's all the elements that I'm going to need. My intention with it is to create a good reading experience as well. So now what I'm going to do is just think about all these elements and lay out a couple of different versions of how I think this page could go. Okay, there we go. There's a few different ideas for ways I could lay out my page. Now let me explain what I was just doing. So the point of wireframing is to quickly get your ideas out on paper. As you can see, I was not worried about drawing my lines straight or making it perfectly like understandable. All that matters is that you understand it at this stage anyway. So let me just explain a few things I was doing as I went through. Firstly, for my wireframes, I like to have a system of different shapes and things and what they mean. When I draw a box with a cross through it, like this one here, in this case it means my logo, but it could also mean like any imagery or assets that I'd be putting in. Squiggly lines for me mean a heading or larger text, and then these straight lines indicate body copy, so that's the post. This is a form, and this is a footer, obviously. This would be like a little avatar of myself. And then I was kind of doing filled in rectangles means a button. But like I said, all that matters at this stage is that you understand your ideas. So my first idea was the default, regular navigation, the post left aligned. I don't want my post taking up the full width because that would be, the line length would be too long. So I go title, tag, post, form, and then a bio, and then beneath it is where I was doing the comments. And that's when I decided, you know what, I really don't want comments on my website. I'm pretty sure about that fact. It's just something else for me to check. And instead, what I want to encourage people to do that I started thinking about on this one is share on social media. So that would be like a thing to do, like go talk about it on your Facebook or your Twitter or whatever, instead of leaving a comment here. This one has like a more centered navigation and a centered post style with a bio in the footer with links. This one is the classic sidebar. I don't really feel great about the sidebar, to be honest. I think that I want to focus on the reading experience. Sidebars are really useful when you're putting, advertising in there or linking to other products and things, really focusing on the category and tag style search, but I don't think I want to do that. So I think I'm going to abandon that idea. Go for something more where the post is sitting in the center of the page so that's easier for you to focus on. I also thought that maybe I could have at the top of the blog, instead of just a logo, it could be like a photo, logo, and then a short like one sentence bio up there as well, to avoid having the need for a bio anywhere else. I don't know. And having the form in the footer too. But I don't think I'm going to do that because I think that if I was just having one standard form across my site, that would be good. But I kind of want to be able to mix things up and do more, more relevant email stuff. That's the word I was looking for. So for example, if I make a PDF or a template or something that relates to the post, or if perhaps I want to have an email sequence that relates to the same topic that you just read a post about, I'm going to have a form that relates to that rather than just one standard form across the site. This idea is kind of interesting to me. For some reason, I don't hate a sidebar being on the left-hand side as much as I do on the right. I'm just imagining it being a lot smaller maybe, that would have the logo up the top right here and then the title, the post, really big up the top. So there's quite a focus on that. And you could just read down, or there's like a subtle navigation and a subtle like couple of sentences bio without a photo in the side as well. It could still feel quite lopsided though, so I'm not sure about that. But the idea is that then at the bottom I could have like want more or something in the side with the form on the right. Then over here I started thinking about, okay, well, how am I gonna get people to read my next post? So I started thinking about having recent posts at the bottom. So this could be like, recent posts, and then bring in the 5 latest, or maybe it could be based on the category or something like that. Just something to give people something else to read once they finish this post and keep them on my site longer, basically, consuming more of my content. So I do really think that the ideas I'm going to move on with is either this left-hand sidebar with the navigation and the logo, or this whole centered idea, I think is what's going to be the go for me. I feel pretty good about moving on to the design phase now, carrying on these 2 ideas. You don't have to just pick one from your wireframes and move on. I am planning on doing a full video about my updated wireframing process, what you just saw me go through here basically, but if I was then needing to share this with a stakeholder for feedback on the wireframe before I got into the visual design, I wouldn't show them this because it is a little bit hard to understand. I would do like a grey boxes version in Sketch, but because it's just me, I'm not going to bother with that, and I'm going to dive straight into the design side of things. This is where I'll end this video though, so you'll see the design phase in the next one. I hope this was interesting or useful to you or something, just seeing my process and seeing how I think and how I go about planning something like this. I think wireframing is a super important part of the design process because you can validate or invalidate ideas very quickly. If I had mocked up each of these in full, like even just using grey boxes on the computer, it would have taken a lot longer than just scribbling it with my pencil on my iPad. So that way I wasn't wasting time working on any ideas that as soon as I drew them out knew weren't right for me. And also I went through this rapid idea iteration phase, because if I'd just gone with my first idea, well, I don't think that's the best one. I actually like the ideas that I came up with to the end of this process, so go figure. Thanks for watching, and thanks for hanging out with me while I plan my new blog. I'm excited to move on to the design phase now, so make sure you are subscribed to my channel so that when I do upload that blog design video, you'll see it in your subscription feed. Alright, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!